So, I'd like to talk to you about some 20 years ago, thereabouts, actually going back to earlier in my directorship, Tad Taube and I became friends at an early stage, talking about public policy and how a place like Hoover could make a difference. And I had this idea we had a collection of fellows that, for the most part, were doing, had individual agendas to do really terrific work. But I felt that teaming of fellows could lead to an enhancement of the product and the output of the institution. And so we dreamed up something called task forces together, Tad and I. And so the idea was to launch one, and knowing that Corrett had a longtime interest in K through 12 education and Hoover as well, we started thinking about what would a task force look like. And so 16 years ago, or more than that, it took us a year or so to dream up or to formalize the concept. And so we put something together, and Tad and the Corrett Foundation gave us a sizable founding support, and away we went. And education is it turns out, is a tough nut. I think that we have, we make 3 steps forward, we take 2 steps back. On net, I feel like we've made slow progress at trying to influencing the debate, and that's satisfying. One would like to think that but that one could do better in terms of progress, but there are constituencies, political constituencies, that make that kind of thing very difficult. So, but away we went, and it has been a terrific journey, certainly for me, and I think Tad as well. Furthermore, Tad has been individually separate from Corrett, has been very generous to the Hoover Institution. He was awarded our distinguished award called the Uncommon Commitment Award, and he and Diane have, as I mentioned in my introduction, he and Diane endowed the directorship of the Hoover Institution, which I mentioned also that would be me. Personally and professionally, we have had this wonderful bond together, and one that I think cannot be broken forever. What we want to do is actually say to you, Tad, thank you. And so what we've done is to dream up a way to somehow leave this with this impression or this way of your thinking about us going forward. And so we have a short video, number 1, and number 2, we have a poster that we would like to share with you, a collage, if you will, of photographs over the years.
All right, that's enough.
Before you start, I have one other thing.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
So Tad,
Oh, that's beautiful.
this is a collage of photographs over the years of people that you've had close relationships with, including your involvement with the task force on K through 12 education and other sort of close moments. And we hope that you'll treasure this someplace in your house, at least seasonally. So, thank you.
That's great. Thank you, John.
Okay, please.
Thanks, honey. I know you had a lot to do with this. I heard I heard the word thank you, Tad, said so often that I'm beginning to think maybe I didn't do enough. I'm going to have a few comments, but I've got to share one story with you, which is really a very special story because it involves the experience that John Raisian and I had in the early days of bringing together collaborative effort among our fellows. And John and I spent a lot of time trying to develop a model. It had never been done at Hoover before. The Hoover Fellows worked alone, not collaboratively, advancing their own research projects. And I worked with Henry Rowan to develop sort of a concept, which I don't even remember what the name of it was, but I know that there's a beautiful plaque down in the Annenberg room to thank me for it. But it was interesting because we prepared a little brochure describing what we are calling this collaborative, and John arranged for, excuse me, for George Schultz and Milton Friedman to meet with us in the upstairs conference room so that John could present this innovation of new vision for the Hoover Institution. And so John got the brochure out and he started showing it to George and to Milton, and he was very articulate and really explaining this thing in very glowing terms as to how it's going to completely change the face of the Hoover Institution, which in fact it has. And when he got all through, Milton said, "John, you know, that's the biggest bunch of crap I've ever seen." And that was the initial reaction to all of these wonderful things that we've done. Fortunately, George Schultz caught the ground ball, fielded it, and said, now, Milton, let's not be hasty. I mean, these guys may have something, really worthwhile here. And then we took off from there, and we've had a wonderful series of collaborative efforts among the fellows, one of which obviously is one that you probably heard more about tonight than you ever want to ever in your life, the Correct Task Force. It's a wonderful group. I'm extremely proud that Diane and I had a chance to be involved with it. It would be inappropriate if we talk about the Correct Task Force, if we don't mention some of the Correct people that are here tonight that supported the Correct Task Force and its funding, and that would be Jeff Farber, who's the CEO of the Correct Foundation. Jeff, why don't you stand and let people have a look at you. And, of course, the great Michael Boskin. I don't know if I saw Michael earlier here. Why don't you stand up, Michael? And we have our Chief Operating Officer, Tina Frank, who I think I saw earlier. Over there. And we have other members of the Correct staff, and I don't want to drag this out, so I'm not going to introduce everybody individually, but let's just say that the reason it happened wasn't because, I'm being honored tonight. It happened because the whole board and staff of the Correct Foundation was very excited about it. It's something that in an educational institution like Stanford University, was something that we should certainly aspire to. And I think tonight we saw a new page being turned in the whole education arena. Sal Khan is a great star, great speaker, and a great promoter, I might add. And, it takes all of those kinds of things to make something happen, and it is happening. I think blended learning today is really the new vision in the area of education. I want to say a couple of words about Diane, who has had to put up with me. I'm kind of a workaholic, and So, all of the things that we heard about tonight that I'm involved in, I think about all those things, with more hours of the day than really most people should devote to their pursuits, whether they be in sports or education or whatever. And the other person that I'd like to single out is John Raisian, because John is really the glue that makes this whole organization function. It has been his vision that I've been fortunate to be selected to help pursue. We have an imprint on the national stage of policy development that is largely the vision of this man over here, and I'm eternally grateful. It wasn't hard for me to write a check for John because I so much believed in what he was doing, but even more importantly, I so much believed in what this great institution, the Hoover, is doing. We're a little island here. I was good to see John Hennessy join in and help congratulate me. I thought that was good because it kind of made it seem like it was multicultural. But I don't think that our political views here at the Hoover Institution are quite coincident with what's coming out of Building 10 on the Stanford Quad. So it is a very special place. It's a place that has had to fight for its existence. There have been a number of instances that there have been movements on this campus that are not necessarily friendly to our continued good health. And I have to give a lot of credit for essentially fending off some of those efforts to John, who has frequently met with the faculty senate and explained to them that we're not really Count Dracula over here. All in all, I appreciate the very nice things that have been said about me. I think, if you really want to know the truth, they're really somewhat exaggerated. I do some of these things because it's what I like doing, and I don't think really people should be rewarded, excuse me, for pursuing things that they enjoy doing. I enjoyed working with this great institution because the Hoover Institution stands for all of the things that are important to me and to Diane and to most of you here. Namely, we believe in personal freedom, personal responsibility, limited government, and all of the things that are the underpinnings of the philosophies that shape the Hoover Institution. And so for me to be involved in that is really almost analogous to me sending out all these political emails that I get a lot of flack for. I think just about everybody here in this room at one time or another has written me a note and said, "God damn it, stop sending me those political emails. Liable to get me on the on the wrong list with our government," which today, unfortunately, I will tell you is a serious problem for this country. The only other thing I would say is that I have also been privileged in recent years to uncover a new family, and that family was actually represented today at the proceedings of blended learning by my cousin, Esther Wojcicki. And Esther, would you kind of stand and let everybody recognize that? No. I would have introduced her husband, Stan, who is, by the way, Esther, I might tell you, she has put the world of journalism in high school teaching on the map. I mean, there's nobody that does the kind of job with her journalism class that Esther has done. It is literally known throughout the country, not just here in the Bay Area at Palo Alto High School. Her husband, Stan, who was here earlier, but saw all these thank yous to me and said, "I've had enough," and excused himself rather abruptly, and he's not here anymore. But Stan was quite a guy here at this university. He headed up the physics department at Stanford for some 14 years, and you can imagine the kind of intellect and the kind of reputation it takes to be the head of a world-famous physics department that has produced a number of Nobel laureates. There are many other people in this room that I would love to recognize because I love you all, but I think I'm kind of feeling John getting a little nervous here, and I happen to notice that there was strategically placed in front of me a little clock. And the only thing that hasn't happened is the alarm hasn't gone off yet. So before the alarm goes off, I want to thank you all for the wonderful support that you've given Diane and me in terms of being patient and watching this never-ending film that was sprung on you earlier. And I thank the task force for their role in this recognition, and obviously we have a number of members of the Hoover Board of Overseers and more directly members of our executive committee that are here tonight and that I'd love to talk about, but the hook is coming, so thank you all.